Hey, what's up guys? It's Reflex. I hope you're having a good Friday. Today we're taking a look at the Lamy Safari. This is a yellow with a fine nib. This was the second fountain pen I ever got. A few years after I had the zebra, I wanted to get something that was a little bit better because this obviously wasn't writing at the time, but I still wanted to try my hand at fountain pens, and this seemed like a good idea, so I got it from Jet Pens and used it in college a little bit, freshman year. Eventually I stopped using it because I got my tactile turn glider or bolt action pen and used that a lot instead. And then this one also dried out a lot and I hated that. So it sat on the back burner for a year or so before I finally cleaned it, re-inked it, and now I love this pen again as well. It is the fine nib. Let me go check the price real quick. Alright, so this is about $30. As of right now on Jet Pens it's $29.60, so about $30. I'm trying to remember, I think it was just the pen and one cartridge. And then I also bought some extra cartridges. Let me get those real quick. I'm pretty sure I bought this separately. I don't think it came with the Safari. But this just dried out for me so quick. This ink, I would let the pen sit for a week and all of the ink was dried out. And I can't be having that with the amount of pens I have. They're going to sit around for a week without use sometimes, and I can't have the whole ink dry out every time. So that's why I stopped using it for a while, but recently I re-inked it. I used a syringe and I put Pelikan 4001 Brilliant Black into the cartridge and now it works great. It hasn't been drying out. I'd say this ink works really well with this pen. So let's go ahead and do the writing test. So that is the writing test for the Lamy Safari fine nib. Surprisingly, it has more feedback than the zebra. I don't know if that's because some of the ink's drying on the nib. As you can see, it's a little dirty, or what, but it's got surprisingly more feedback than I would expect. Just a tiny smidgen more than the zebra. I'd say the zebra has no feedback almost, which is surprising considering how fine it is. But the Safari has more feedback, but the fine nib is a bit broader than the zebra, which is weird because I would not call this 0.7, which is what zebra calls it. I would call that closer to 0.5, maybe even finer than 0.4, maybe like 0.4, honestly. It's pretty fine. But I do love the way the Safari writes, and I'm a big fan of the grip. I know some people either love it or hate it, but it is very comfortable in my opinion. And I also just love the bright yellow of it. It doesn't really capture in videos or pictures very well. Looking in the camera right now, it looks pretty yellow, and it is yellow, but in real life it's got more of an oranginess to it, just a tiny bit, but it's definitely yellow. Just not as highlighter yellow as it looks in pictures and videos. So that's all I can really think to say. I do love this pen. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely a great pen to use like every day if you want a fountain pen for school. I would say if you're using it at school, probably a fine or extra fine nib would be good, especially if you're using like crappy paper teachers give you. So if you have any questions about it, drop them in the comments below and I will answer them as soon as possible.